witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Greetings, Earthlings. Good evening. Hello, everyone. We are the Thinking Scrubs. I'm your host, Ron, and together with me are Rebel Raymond. Say hi.
Hi guys.
No energy. How about
Hi.
how
Of
about
course, no.
Resistance Ramon? Hello.
Hello.
Too bad we don't have Imperial Ian with us right now. But
Wow. We have
Force
nicknames
Ghost.
now.
Oh man. It just occurred to me that our names correspond with the squads that we play. Lately, I play the Republic, so I guess I'm Republic Ron.
Speaking of names, I noticed that we're using a different name now.
Oh
We're the
really?
Thinking Scrubs.
Really?
I thought we were the Sarlacc Scrubs.
I thought so too. What do you think, Ramon?
Okay naman. I think this is something that has to happen. What do you think?
Yes. For those who are not aware, just a brief background on this. So FFG just recently released a new set of policies regarding the use of licensed content regarding to, of course, Star Wars and all that stuff. So, in preparation for this, we've been discouraged. Everyone, I think, who's been discouraged to use any names that are proper names linked to the Star Wars franchise.
All
And
right.
so I think Minox also made the change.
And we are the podcast formerly known as Sarlacc Scrub. So obviously, Sarlacc is an intellectual property of the mouse himself. So we try to veer away from that. So that will be more flexible in the future.
Yep. So Ramon, why did you come up with the thinking scrubs? What was the logic behind that?
Actually, if you remember during our brainstorming session, what I mentioned was um, we were focusing on removing the word Sarlacc from the name, but just leaving the group named Scrubs isn't really going to work. So we basically needed an adjective in front of it, and probably out of the list of what we made, looks like thinking just came out ahead. But at least uh, in terms of putting some thought into why we're called the Thinking Scrubs, well, when we started the podcast, we've always assumed that our target audience was for the general public who wants to the general extreme player who wants to improve, think about how they do, how they play, what they play, and basically find a different way to uh, I would say this up their game. So to put a little more thought into what they enjoy, and I think putting thinking and scrub together may seem like an oxymoron, but uh, in the end, it's more like a state of improvement. So yeah.
Well said, well said. Ron, I think you voted for this name as well, so why did you want to choose this name?
Because there's a nice ring to it. So thinking and scrubs. What is a scrub basically? A scrub is someone who is probably the opposite of a professional, no? Someone who is very good at what he do. And obviously we're not that. So and yeah. So but at least we're thinking, no? At least we're trying to get out of that rut, so to speak. No? So we're trying to think of ways how to not become a scrub. No? And I like the irony. No? It's a scrub, but it's a thinking scrub. Thinking scrub. That's what I think.
I keep thinking it sounds like that thing you washing away something or something.
That's the advantage. Whenever someone searches a scrub or a broom in the internet, our name will come up. So we will become very popular
Yes, with
among
people
the
who like to
housewives,
clean. Yes.
among the housewives. All right.
A
So
real target market.
you're targeting
Yeah.
housewives. What are we finding out in this podcast? All right.
Okay.
And we have a lot on our plate tonight. Oh, wow, 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 wow. For those who are seeing watching our podcast through YouTube, so there's quite a nice visual showing a brain in a jar. So that's our working logo, a brain in a jar. So that's a brain of a scrub in a jar, thinking about how to win in X-Wing. And speaking of X-Wing miniatures games, there was a couple of big news, no, released by FFG this morning about the most anticipated points update.
Whew, yeah, wow, what an update indeed. Where did any of you guys watch the live stream, or did you just hear about it after?
I did not because some of us had to work already about June.
Some of us have to sleep.
Yeah, and also that too. So
Well,
Raymond, you seem to have followed the video. What do you call that?
the
The
live stream, yes.
the live
I was
stream.
very active there actually. And did you know that I was actually responded to in the chat by FFG Live.
Wow.
What question did he ask, Raymond?
I said, "Are you releasing any new stuff for episode 9?" And they said, "Sorry, they can't comment on it." I
But
wish yeah, I wish I could have asked another question, but time ran out. But we'll get moving on that. So, some main highlights from the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the new points, which we'll be going through in a bit. Max Brook and Brooks. Oh, great! I don't know how to say his name. They gave
Flugar.
Flugar Levitt also gave some um, back reasoning on why they made changes like that, and so on and so forth. And so yeah, that was pretty much the whole thread, the whole stream. I think there was one rules question in there. I don't know how that got there for some reason.
Is that the
Someone
one
asked
about
the cargo chute.
debris, cargo shoot, something like that?
Mm.
It was mentioned in the Minox Squadron podcast.
Yeah,
Uh,
uh, that was kind of funny as well during that stream. Okay, so I
look,
guess we shall move on to the actual
looking at the picture of the three guys, you won't you can't tell that they're delivering good news. No, looks like they're confessing to a crime or something. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so shall we
So
proceed with the rebels here, or how do you wanna just move
sure,
down the line?
rebels. Let's go, rebels.
Oh, before we begin, shout out to Hori Boat and Polite Canadian for this spreadsheet.
Hori what?
Hori Boat.
Hori boat or bat?
Yes. Oh, sorry, Bat. Is it Bat? Oh man, Hori Bat. Sorry, my bad.
So say sorry to the Hori bat.
My bad.
All right, you're bad.
Okay, so for rebels, oh God, where do I begin?
The pain,
Obviously,
the agony.
the rebel beef has been destroyed
Buti nga.
systematically one by one. Let's start with Braylon Stram, who got 4 point increase. It's a little much, but I understand. For some reason, Braylon is the more favored of the two named pilots. Uh,
Braylon the cheater.
How is
uh,
he a cheater, Rod?
yeah.
Who? Well, I think he's the only pilot who gets better when stressed. Whereas the
Well,
rest of the Republic, they suck more when they're stressed. Except for
well,
Lulo, which also got the
no,
shaft.
not really. But I will talk about that later.
Yeah, so both B wings, Chen and Braylon got hit a bit. Then, oh, speaking of which, so the ARC 170's got some love, and we have Garvin Ibits, what? Ib, Ib, great.
Ibtis,
Ibtisam.
Ibtisam.
Ibtisam. and Shara Bay getting some reductions. So I'm kind of predicting that maybe these guys will take the place of the B Wings in some Rebel Beef lists because they're almost priced to where the B Wings were before.
That's actually pretty good because at least there's some variety in Rebel Beef that we'll be looking at in the future. It doesn't necessarily mean Rebel Beef is dead. At
Yep.
least Rebel Beef in the form that we knew. But as an archetype, it seems that Rebel Beef is still going to be something that's going to be challenging for future players.
Yes, definitely some sort of variation will come out of this, but will what exactly is the archetype? We'll find out soon enough. So, still the Azatak gunship and the attack shuttle not getting any love, still staying where they are. I don't know how I feel about that because the gunship seems like a good platform. However, giving angled deflectors to everyone kind of makes them irrelevant now, right? That's
It depends. I think the gunship, for example, still really, how to say this, benefits from having a 180-degree firing arc. It's just that there aren't as much tools that can take advantage of the 180-degree firing arc at the moment.
that's true too. With all of the most of the talents now requiring a certain um archetype. Yeah, so well, maybe trick
Yep.
shot, but yeah, but
It
that's a
could
different
happen. I
thing.
mean, Wolf with trick shot and
Yeah, yeah,
Jan Ors. It's anything.
The the developers did say that when they see something that is not fun, they come in and do some adjustments. Now, no one has been playing the Aussie to gunship, or at least
never. Not even never. Never.
yeah,
It's
it
been never played.
doesn't appear that often in a squad list in tournament bat preps or whatever. And yet they stayed the same after two rounds of point adjustments. So what does that say? Uh, are we missing something? Are they actually good? And FFG knows it. It's just waiting to be discovered. No? So to me, that's
Um,
quite
Go ahead,
interesting.
Raymond.
Well, yeah. Well, I still don't see it, but maybe in this second edition, new point adjustment, some people will turn to them for options.
Wolf Waro, for example, is his ability the same as his when during 1.0? Uh, because
Yep.
granting additional attack dice is quite rare in this game. No? So aside from Wolf Waro, John Ors, who else can give an additional attack dice? So that's something waiting to be exploited. Maybe we're just not seeing something. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe. Well, okay. Moving on to the Y wings. So everyone stayed the same except for Dutch, who
Dutch
got a
Vander. Paltry one
yes,
point increase.
which is it's. I guess it's okay. As
But
it's
it
not
seems
horrible.
a paltry recognition of Dutch's contribution to Rebel Beef, no?
Yes.
Only 1 point. If I was Dutch, only 1 point. I did so
Well,
much during the era of Rebel Beef, and they only increased me by 1 point. So they must not think of me as a threat. Only one
well,
point.
Dutch was never really used in the Rebel beef lists much in the top tier tournaments, or that we saw. Maybe in some of the other tournaments. So maybe they just want to secure that in the future proofing Dutch when people might turn to him after they see that the B wings aren't doing so well.
Well,
So at
the Rebel Beef that this is still fresh in my memory. I think it was Peter, our very own Peter, who was piloting the Rebel Beef featuring Dutch Vander. I think that's the only time I got a zero. I was tabled in a tournament. Zero, 200 zero, courtesy of Dutch Vander.
yes, well, Dutch is has a very good ability for sure, and yeah, maybe this just to protect because with plasma torpedoes coming out, people will be probably running to Dutch to try use him. And then moving on to the K Wings, so everyone but the generic got some decrease. Does this
So the
make K Wings good now? I wonder.
2 points.
Yeah.
What squad can we build Miranda out of?
Mm,
Can 2 points, 43 points plus Plasma Torps. How much is Plasma Torps? 9 points.
9 points. Yeah, so almost 50. I guess you could build a Miranda or a 2K wing list, but mm, I don't know. The way they work right now is so different than what I'm used to in version 1.0. Actually, I haven't tried them in second edition.
Because of the turrets.
Yeah,
Change in the
definitely.
turrets.
For
I think
Miranda,
the
hmm,
points
go ahead,
decrease
Ramon.
here. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think the point decrease here is basically for play. Both Esege and Miranda, if you look at either Pink Brain Matter or Meta Wing, haven't seen a significant amount of play in the longest time. So the point decrease here may not necessarily just be balancing, but just making both Miranda and Esege attractive choices. Because in the past waves, in terms of events, it seems that Warden Squadron Pad has been getting a lot of games in, and as well as it's been performing quite well for uh, for for its entries, even though it's not one of the more how to say popular pilots or ships in the current overall meta, like over what's been punched into List Fortress. So apparently, Barrage Rocket, Proton Bomb, and Sabine with 3 wardens is a thing. So Warden Squadron pilots with Grey Squadron bombers or Warden Squadron pilots with Wedge Antilles is a thing. But apparently the best performing Warden Squadron group is 4 Warden Squadron pilots as of right now.
And speaking of
You
Wedge,
can also check this out. Yeah. So yeah,
Yes.
moving on to that.
Wedge, yes. I
so
believe the wedge adjustment is fair. To-
fair and just adjustment. Am
He
I
is
hearing
pretty good
correctly
for
from
his
you,
cost.
Raymond?
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, he was pretty good for 52. He was like an auto add in every rebel list.
Mm, too good, too good, almost. Well,
Yeah.
not almost. Actually, too good for his
Yeah,
points.
so some of the Hawks also got a discount. Though I'm not sure if this will be enough to push them back into the meta, but I think there's potential. Maybe without Moldy Crow, but who knows?
Getting any
Your
play if
thoughts
they
on
don't have the
that?
multi crow.
Yeah, yeah, I think they could still be used even without their Moldy Crow title, right? I mean, Jan Ors could still pump up people, and Rourke could still make someone initiative 7.
Sorry, I'm getting
Eh,
a lot of lag from my end.
You hear us okay, Ramon?
All right.
Okay,
While Ramon is fixing his technical difficulties,
okay,
ja- the hawk,
so
the hawk, they don't have a native three attack forward, right?
no, it's just their single
Hello,
turret.
sorry, my bad.
No worries, Ramon.
Welcome
So
back.
yeah, we are just talking about the Hawk having no native 3 attack. So if it were Bear, it would just have the single turret 2 attack dice. So it would be mostly a support ship without Moldy Crow.
So maybe the adjustments. I'm trying to look at the dorsal turret. No, the dorsal turret I think it increased, right?
Yes, it did.
So the
But
adjustment in the Hawks are more of to compensate for the increase in the turrets. Would you say? Not
wait, do
really
Hawks
to
have
make them more playable.
a turret slot?
No, 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 no. No, no, no. I'm in the wrong game. Too much coffee. Too much work.
It's okay. So yeah, probably I hope to see. I think I'll try using them in more of a support role ship, but I doubt if I can fit Moldy Crow in there. So moving on to so Wedge, we mentioned his fair update. Cassian, I think it was a bit much, though he was pretty good, but I think it's only effective if you have someone like you're always
Bryden.
with the B-wing. Yeah, Braylon or 10. So it's a very specific scenario, and I don't know if that warranted the whole 4 points. But yeah, I guess that opinions could differ there.
So both Brylen and Kashan had a 4 point increase.
Yep,
So that's 8 point increase for just two ships. So
yep.
Rebel B freely took a hit.
Definitely, you won't be able to fit the Cassian, Braylon 10, and Wedge into a list anymore, even Bear. So you definitely have to change up some of those ships.
Even Leia increased by 4 points.
Yes. So that was the I think the first adjustment mentioned off the bat for everyone wanted to find out Princess Leia increasing to 6 points, which is I guess I would have preferred 5 or 4, but okay. I mean, yeah, I guess I can see that happening. And then Maul getting an increase by 1, which is also a surprise. I didn't even know who used Maul.
Maul the crew.
Yeah, Maul the crew.
Hmm.
R2D2 got a spike too, and we all know that only Han really uses him though.
So R2D2 is now variable, costed
No, no,
variable.
that's the
Ah, this is
astromech.
the crew.
The crew just went up 2 points.
Mm.
But yeah, so the new R2D2. Not sure who uses R2D2 astromech. Um, did Pete any ever use them? I wasn't sure.
R2D2 Astromech.
Yeah,
I don't know. In our local meta, I haven't come across. Maybe sometimes with Luke during casual games, but during tournaments, I'm not so sure.
yeah. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I guess that's it for the rebels. I wish some other ships would have gotten some more love, like the Ghost or the Sheetipede or the Thai Element Fighter, but uh, that's the way it is. Okay, so let's
Gram.
move on to the Empire.
So for the rebels, the big winners are the K-Wings and the Arcs. And big losers are the Rebel Beef.
Yes, whoever was in the Rebel Beef, basically. Okay, so moving on to Empire. So we saw uh, increases to the most used Imperial ships, which are Major Vinder, Darth Vader, and Suntir Phil, while a lot of other ships, and of course the TIE Phantoms, forgot about them. But of course, we have some reductions, I guess. So finally, is this enough of a nerf to take down the TIE Phantoms?
TIE Phantoms. How much was the point increase?
Just 1 point for the base pilot, 2 points for the ace, 1 point on Echo, and 3 points on Whisper.
So what what do they usually use for the Quad Phantoms?
So normally they
It's
use the
basically
Sigma.
for Phantom.
I think it was the ace, right, Ramon?
Yeah,
The
it's a Sigma
Sigma.
Squadron Ace for the planet
Sigma.
slot. So that's 4 Phantoms with 3 copies of Juke.
So
Hello.
it cannot be made anymore.
Yep.
The Quad Phantom has been
Yeah, it's
made.
basically been undone
Mm.
because it's total of 14 points increase for the whole list itself.
Wow.
But technically, you could still run Quad Phantoms, just not with Juke. So a different talent slot, maybe.
Yeah, but the thing is, the thing that makes the Quad Phantom list unique is the fact that you get hit by multiple shots of Juke, and by that when that happens, by the time you get to your second or third receiving shot, you're already taking in a lot more damage than you usually expect. So
True.
that's one of the strengths of the Quad Phantom, aside from other factors which make it a pretty solid and efficient list.
True. I agree with that as well. However, I think people are still gonna try and play with them. That's just my opinion because I mean, their power also lies in their cloaking slash maneuverability at start. So if some expert player plays with them, I think they could still see some use.
Phantoms, they don't have native target locks, right? Do they?
Not sure. Don't, I could double check real
Shut up.
quick.
Mm. Because that's the issue with the Phantoms, like the Interceptors. They don't have pretty much in the way of modifying their shots, if I remember correctly. So and Duke helps a lot in that regard. So aside from the Phantom itself, Duke also increased in price by 2 points. It's now 7 points apiece.
That's not just. Yeah, yeah. It's 2 point. Yeah, very expensive. Yeah, but to safeguard, I guess, against the phantoms.
Mm.
So, but some of the other less used Imperial ships got some love. So we saw Thai Advance V1 reduce some points, and Thai Aggressor and the Thai Defender, Valve's favorite, and the Decimator, of course.
Thai aggressor, woohoo! Maybe we'll be seeing quad aggressors soon. Maybe in 3 years.
No,
X-Wing 3.0.
in 3.0, yes. Where will they create auto turrets or something?
But Raf, if you're hearing us, the defenders became cheaper. So maybe we'll see more of that defenders.
Yep. I think we'll be seeing more of the Decimator. I think that's a good uh buff that they did. They added in another crew slot, so they have 3 crew slots now.
Wow, 3 crew slots. So you can fit in Palpatine and a coffee maker.
Yeah, whoever and don't and some of their good crew also got some reductions like Admiral Sloan, Agent Callus, Sienna Ree, if I'm reading that right. And
AKA Michael Burnham.
yes. So yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more decimators coming out soon. Okay.
There
So
was a question about Thai strikers, right? Because the non-named Thai strikers suck. So what was their reply?
Thai strikers. What did they say
So
regarding the Thai
they were
strikers?
untouched, no? No adjustment whatsoever. So Countdown, Pure Sabak, and Duchess is still at their original points.
Why
Well,
would
we don't see them often, so
it says the non-named ones, so that means the generics.
mhm. I guess I think there was mention that they looked at six six striker squads. Can you fit six? No, you can't.
But you can fit five.
But you can fit five
Yes,
with 10 points
to
to
spare. Yes.
spare.
Yeah.
So that means you could probably fit in a few seismic charges, three copies, or two proton bombs.
Yeah, I don't understand why Thai strikers are bad. I think they're pretty good
I
for
think
what
so
they do.
too.
Yeah,
I think so
that's
too.
really. I don't think it's a question that made sense. I think strikers are more or less. They could probably become point. They could get lower points probably, but they're in a pretty good spot as it is. There are no tie interceptors. They ailerons take some time to get used to, but overall, they're pretty much at a good spot. Especially the named tie strikers.
Okay, so I think we better move along to
Yep.
Scum. So I think for Scum mostly, we only got a reduction of only one major ship, Drea, Renthal, and the Y Wing.
Reduction. or increase?
Sorry, a nerf. So that's an additional 7 points for Drea Rental. But mostly everyone else got reduction in points. So uh, the IGs got reductions. The fire class patrol craft, everyone got reductions there. Jump masters as well, and they added a gunner slot.
Mm-hmm.
Gunner
So
slot
yeah,
to what?
and for the Kiraz, lost. They changed out a mod for a second illicit.
Looks like there's some form of penance there for Boba Fett. So they reduced Boba's point cost by one.
Yes, even if Boba is still, I think fire
Same
cl-
master.
the s- the fire class ship to use, right? And so I'm curious to see if this will bring jump masters back into relevancy. And we have some reductions for the Lancer class as well. It seems like Ketsu Onyo is the only one that stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
Fang
And
Fighters, any change?
nope, I
Yeah, I
don't
think
think.
the fan fighters are in a pretty good place right now.
Yeah, they're
They don't need any point reductions.
agree. And let's see, the Houndstooth got reductions as well. Um, Latsrazi got one. Then the Shadowcaster title for
Wow, it's three
the
points. Oh, it's
minus
nice.
one. Yeah. So they're definitely pushing on the Lancer class, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll see more of those in the upcoming meta. Okay, so let's move on to Separatist. So short this list. I like it.
Basically, I was talking to Ron Borja earlier about the separatists, and the basic summary of the whole faction is that it buffed squads that want to fly in swarms. It basically just nerfed the infiltrator, both the Maul Dooku dual ship list, but everything else got a significant discount.
I see.
If
So
you
like,
notice, oh, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
So like I noticed how the Vulture class droids all got point reductions, but their energy shell charges got an increase
An
of one.
increase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the most specific one that we can probably check out in terms of reduction is the Solus 1 title, which is at -4. It's now at
Mm.
6 points. And, well, Impervium plating is it here? There we go. It's now at 4 points. So you could probably fit these in a swarm with your Thief and Outros. It's quite interesting that the Belbo Labs did not get any kind of point increase, but they actually got decreases, especially for General Grievous. But you could probably fit the Solus one and the Impervium plating on the Thief and Outro, maybe even two of them, and that
Yes.
it would fit in a swarm.
What's
I
that upgrade card that lets you keep your focus tokens? What happened to him?
Oh,
That's
it's
tactical
calculators,
relay.
and that's Kraken.
All
It's the
right,
same
Kraken.
points.
Kraken.
It's
Still the same.
Kraken,
Still the same.
still the same points.
Same points.
Yes.
So powerful, but same points. Where's the justice in that?
I think they're really pushing the swarms for
Yeah.
the separatists.
Yes.
So
So
anything that works for swarms stayed points or got a decrease. But
Mm-hmm.
anything that, for example, buffed the two Sith infiltrator list, like Maul and Dooku themselves, got 2 points. Hate now scales with, well, we're gonna go to that later, but it scales with the base size. And if you notice the, how to say this, well, Palpatine stayed the same, but most proton torpedoes basically got a 1 point increase because there's a specific list that two Sith infiltrator list that uses two copies of proton torpedoes.
but yes.
Have you
So
tried going against the two infiltrator lists?
Sorry,
mm,
which who are you?
no,
The
not really.
Mole and Dooku list. Have you
Um,
gone against that list, that particular list? It's quite hard to play against. it's like you're under stress. It's like they can do so many things to you, and you have to really think hard how to fight against them. They're leaning towards a negative play experience, actually. So probably that's why the reason for the nerf.
Yep. So and why encouraging swarm play.
Mm.
So
What if the swarm is the negative experience for me? I mean, I swear.
it's just think
Is
about it.
that
It's just the swarm is
hugot?
just the
Yeah.
bigger brother of the rebel beef thing.
Oh God, all those energy shell charges aiming at me. No.
Why? What happened?
Rage
What
15,
happened,
no range
Raymond?
bonuses.
Yeah,
Share,
but
share to us. What happened? It will
nah, it's fine.
lessen the pain.
But yeah, definitely this is the swarm is they're really pushing the swarms. And oh, by the way, did you guys check out the electro proton bomb cost? It's at 14 points.
14 points.
Yes.
So the most expensive bomb to date.
Yes. But let's face it, it is pretty powerful. Do you think you'll see play? I
So
mean,
for
this
for
is this exclusive to the separatists?
No, no, no,
Can
it's not. It's not. It's exclusive in terms of where you can get it, but it's a generic device, so any faction can use it as long as they have the requirements for it.
yeah, so do you guys think that this bomb will see play?
I'm not sure. I personally can't see a way to employ it yet, but also the fact that that's not my playstyle. But I think it's going to be something that relies on a very specific game plan. It's not something that you can just put in a list and then drop anytime you want. You have to have a specific situation where you want to drop it and how you're going to be dropping it, considering its mechanics.
it's the one with the range 2 effectivity, right?
Yes.
So if you can
Uh,
imagine a circle almost a foot in diameter, that's quite big, no?
Yeah, it'll take at least some ships at least 2 turns to get out
The
of its.
affected area.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm.
But don't forget, it also deploys in 2 turns. I mean, explodes in 2 turns. So
Yes.
But I can imagine that it's exciting and fun to see on the board.
yeah, definitely when you see someone deployed, everyone's all the ships will be going dead.
Takbo! Takbo!
Yes.
It's like seeing a flying epis. No? Everyone run.
Okay, so yeah, let's move on to the Republic. Ron, you must be so happy.
Republic. What happened to the Republic? Anakin Skywalker. What? I didn't I didn't notice that Obi-Wan decreased by 6 points.
Seven. Seven.
Six,
No,
six.
Six
six
ba?
It
points.
was
Six.
it was
Si
Plo
Plo
Koon
Koon
that
yung
got
seven.
7.
Plo
Okay.
Koon got 7. So Anakin's 2 point increase, that's nothing
That is
because
nothing.
Obi-Wan had a 6 point decrease. So
Yeah.
essentially, if you're playing Anakin and Obi-Wan, so no impact.
But
Yes.
also, don't forget the Delta 7B also got increased.
That's the
But you can,
problematic part.
guys, you can actually put Delta 7B on Anakin, and then CLT on both Obi Wan and Plo Koon, and run them together with a 9 point bid.
Yeah, but CLT sucks. At least from my point of view.
But it's
Well,
gotten so much
you're at
cheaper
yeah,
now.
you're at initiative 5, and then you're paying 4 points for it.
Five
Yeah.
points,
4 points.
four
You're gonna be
points.
Yeah, you're initiative 5, and you're paying 4 points for it, and then you have a
Like
9 point bid.
when I play it, I can't recall ever using it more than once per game. So it's like paying 5 points for something that you can use more often.
Maybe it's not for your playstyle, Rod.
Yeah, maybe it's not for my style of play. So
Mm.
what happened to the Delta 7? So it's a variable cost depending on what?
It's still a variable cost, but it got 2 points increase across every level.
Ah, okay. So
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 your
for
Anakin is around 4 points more expensive now, which is I think still pretty good for you, right?
still pretty good, still pretty good. I looked at my old list, the one where I played Anakin, Mace, and Luminara. So from a little bit under 200, it now costed 203 points. So that means goodbye to my beloved heightened perception if I still want to play that list.
No, just change one of them into CLT.
No, I think
Actually, Mace is
Delta
your only
7,
option there.
Delta
Yeah.
7 is still
But
the configuration to get.
so one thing I found out is that with the new costings for the calibrate CLT, he could take 5 Jedi Knights with
Mhm.
CLT.
Five
Yes.
Jedi Knights with CLT.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, if you can't get a shot in your bullseye, then I don't know how.
Yeah.
Five Jedi Knights, so that's what? 1,100 times 5. That's expensive. More expensive than the Delta 7B. So, no. How about the N1?
Oh, so the N1 came out and it's costed pretty much the same as like the Delta 7, right?
Ah, there are costs for the okay. They're costed similar to the Jedi.
Yeah, like
Anakin 41, Rick Ole. Ole or Oli. How do you pronounce his name?
I'm not sure. But interestingly enough, we have Anakin here, the first Force user to have an EPT.
Mm. So, Anakin can do free barrel rolls, right?
Yes.
So maybe Daredevil, the one that oh no,
You,
that's for the
trick
boost
shot. You put trick shot on him
trick shot.
because you
So,
go in front of a rock, then shoot through it, and then next turn barrel roll. Basically, advanced sensor off it, but still get an action afterwards.
and you get to shout. That's a nice trick.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
but
So
but yeah.
let's move on to the Resistance.
Oh wait. No other
Uh,
significant changes to the Republic. Oddball.
yeah.
Woo! Oh, now costing 52 points only. Wow, I'm going to use
Yes.
that
See
oddball.
oddball
Yes.
at 52 in an arc.
Nice. He's going
Yes.
to
So
dominate
the
the
name
meta,
clones
I'm
all
sure.
got reductions.
Yeah,
It,
the V19s
Oh,
too. Oh man, 35-point oddball in a V19 looks interesting.
yeah, but what really caught my eye was I'm not sure if it's under the Republic, but dedicated now only cost what 1 point?
Oh my
still the
god.
same.
Oh,
Really?
It's still the
it's
same.
the same. So fake news.
No, they didn't change.
Fake
Didn't
news. I saw
change.
something where in the dedicated talent now only cost 1 point. So I'm a victim of fake
No.
news. Boo.
Fake
Boo.
news.
No. What's interesting though is they didn't they subtracted a point from the Blue Squadron Protector, but at 28 points you're still paying 31 for dedicated carrier. That's still pretty expensive.
Ah, okay. So they reduced from the Blue Squadron Protector, but it's
Yeah.
only 1 point.
Well, if it was 27 and then you get them for 30, because 31, the extra 1 point, if you're going to be taking multiple, might be pushing out a little, some possible either primary wingmen from the list. So I'd prefer if they just closed it at 27 and then had the 3 points to close it off at 30 with dedicated.
Mm. I have one serious theory. Chancellor Palpatine, 14
Mm-hmm.
points.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a coincidence or is the what's that bomb again? Electroplated bomb?
Electro-proton bomb.
Electroproton
Bomb.
generic
Yeah.
bomb.
Mm.
I think that's Palpatine inside a can. So waiting to
Yeah.
explode in 2 turns. So similar cost, 14 points. Yeah,
Yeah.
Palpatine in a can. I'm calling it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll call your bet.
Okay.
Well, I'll ask that in the next FFG live run. I'll
Yeah.
ask Isna.
It's
The
Palpatine
electro.
inside the electro-proton bomb.
Yes.
Yes.
He
Okay.
has two
So
turns to
moving
get
on
out.
Okay, we have the
to
resistance.
Resistance.
Uh,
Okay. Mods, take
interesting.
this.
Okay,
What do you
so
think?
interesting point changes, interesting decreases for the Star Fortress and the low initiative X-Wings. So, for example, it's interesting to see J. Chris Stubbs now at 49 points because, in fairness, I think ships like him might jive well with the new Resistance transport. But in general, the biggest the point decrease was with Ray at 7 points, considering that we're getting Leia Crew at 19 points.
Ooh.
Because Ray with heightened perception and Leia Cruz at now at 95 points, which is actually pretty
Wow.
decent. Because people were usually running her at around that point price anyway, naked. So now
Naked
having her
Ray.
at, yeah, naked, almost naked Ray. So now it's 95 points for Ray with Leia and heightened perception with 3 force. That's actually a pretty decent build that we're looking into. I'm hoping to test that soon. Um, and basically the YT-1300 pilots in general, -5 for Han Solo, -4. The bombers all got a -2 across the board, but I think them not being played isn't necessarily because of them being bad. While it is challenging to fill up their slots and then not overbloat them with points that can get shot down in a couple of rounds, 1 to 2, 3 rounds max. Um, I think it's also a scarcity of the model itself. The trying to look for a resistance bomber isn't particularly easy. Even I had personally a hard time looking for one until Ronald actually referred me to a seller. So thank you for that, Ron. And
Sure.
now I'm going to talk about the only point increases in the faction, which has been focused on the A-Wings. My favorite ship. Unfortunately, they incurred some, well, I would have to say they're pretty deserved point increases. I actually have no problems with the point increases across all the ships in the Resistance A-Wings. For example, the Green Squadron Expert is now at 35 points, Blue Squad is from 32 to 33. I think those are related to the five A wing lists that have proliferated, and there have been a lot of variations
With
on,
optics.
yes, with the optics and everything. But from what I'm seeing, one of the more successful archetypes actually were five A wings, a mix of generics and named A wings, and I think it's more about filling out those spaces because when I was punching this in, when I was punching in the generics in, just the generics still quite fit at around five each. Talisan Lintra gains an extra 1 point because she's a pretty efficient Initiative 5 ace. And it's not bad. I'll still take her if there's a spot for her in my squad in terms of what she does. Like this Initiative 5 support ace provides a bonus green die from time to time. But you take her for the Initiative 5. And then lastly, Lulo. People are saying Lulo is dead, poor Lulo, or whatever. But actually, at 43 points, Lulo is just like a named striker. He's still just as good as, for me, still just as good as Duchess, as Spear Sabak, as Countdown. And for me personally, if Lulo goes beyond 45 points, that's when I'd be crying murder. This is 43 points, it's all right. It just
So it,
limits a little bit of my builds, but Lulo still works, and I can still put him in the same lists that I play.
so it's just homicide right now, not yet murder.
Hindi, more like natagis lang siya. More like, how to say this?
Ano,
More like getting bumped
serious
on the road.
physical injuries lang,
No,
not yet.
well, it could, yeah, we could downgrade to that.
But I'm
So,
really
yeah,
excited, So the bombers, another 2 point discount. Hmm.
yeah. But
But yeah,
Time to
considering
bring out the bombers again.
considering that trajectory sim is still at 10 points, you still have to choose between gunboat builds and bomb builds.
But aside from that, because we have a relatively decent squad before the points change, right? And now they gave us practically 2 points that you can use. So 2 point discount from the bomber that you can use somewhere else. Granted, Lulu Lampard got a 5 point increase, but if you're not going to use Lulu, how about the T70s? Oh, also point reductions. Huh?
Yeah, so
Oh,
as I mentioned, and I think I am not even actually looking at the bomber because the new resistance transports are more interesting, especially
mm,
with how they interact. For example, looking at Kova Nell, and then looking at crew members like Corcella and Larma DIC. Apparently, and with a pattern analyzer, these things can basically do double actions whenever they do reds. And then if they're Nodin Chavri, the lowest initiative named pilot, they can actually do three if I'm reading it correctly. Because from my understanding, basically these transports can just take a red, take a pattern analyzer action, Then thanks to Larma Daisy, they get to take an extra action that's either reinforce, a jam, or a coordinate. And then if you're Nodin Chavdri, once you coordinate, you can also take another action based on
Mm.
your action bar. So that's three actions for Nodin. So it's an interesting space. I think if ever I'm going to be looking at the lower initiative X-wings, I'll probably be looking more with the transports, especially with crew like that GA-97, the one with the it's the resistance feature.
What does that do?
Oh, that's basically keeping a specific ship in reserve that comes in a certain number of turns further down.
Ah, it's like what's that again? It's the cavalry,
Yes, the cavalry has arrived. It's
but
the
this time
card.
it's the resistance.
Yes.
Oh.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was
that's
actually
about.
thinking, did anyone in the movie actually say that? It's the resistance.
I
It's
am
like
not
the
sure.
droid, right? Like when this was in the Force Awakens, if I remember correctly. Han Solo went to that place where they saw what's her name? Oh, I'm
Oh,
getting senile.
Maz Kanata in Takodano.
Yeah, and then there were two sort of informers, right? The droid and the lady with the fat guy. So one of them
Mm,
called the First Order, the other one mentioned it's the Resistance or something like that.
okay.
If memory serves me right.
It could well be there.
Yes.
We can probably double check.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everyone else also gets their resistant transport soon. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
So we could all try out these sneak tricks. Although technically, I'm not sure if we're following the strict application of these points because they should take into effect officially on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, or 12th.
Yes, on the July 11th.
Yeah.
July 11th.
Yep.
But you can already play test, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Playtesting them with the points here is fine. Yes.
So you're seeing Ramon Resistance Transport with X-Wings, T-70 X-Wings.
Yeah, T-70s, probably even Ray or like a YT-1300, and
Mm.
probably another small ship like for example, I'm looking at J. Chris Stubbs because these things love messing around with stress and J. Chris Stubbs is basically Cassian Andor that has to be in range 0 to 100 and 0 to 2 as
How
long
about the
as
pod?
she's moving top.
How about the transport pod? What use do you think it will have?
Right now, the only thing that I can see that's unique about the pod is one, it's cheap. Two, it's got jam.
How many crew can it carry?
It can only carry one.
Only one. All
Yeah.
right.
Though I can see some use in it when being some sort of like a bait ship. Like for
Mm.
example, with V Moradi, his ability is to um the ship that he puts a condition on, so that ship is always face up. Its dial is face up, and it cannot modify or
Ah, the one where you
dice.
have intel, juicy intel.
Yeah.
Yes, at
So
range 0 to 3, which is pretty nice.
yeah. So it's pretty powerful, right? I mean,
Mm.
you just tag that on the ace of your opponent, then have have V Moradi keep somewhere hidden or something.
Yeah, or
Or may,
bully the ace basically. Para, hey, try to kill me, but set up traps.
Yeah.
or maybe General Leia.
Oh,
Put her
she
in
can't
there.
ride on the pod
Because
because Leia takes up two crew
two
slots.
slots.
Yes.
Mm.
Actually, what's interesting in the ships is Finn. When you think about it, Finn has a potential to be a powerhouse in such a small package.
Finn the pilot.
Yes, because Finn can add an extra die, a blank die, similar to his old ability, similar to
Mm.
his crew ability. But he's not restricted to like his front arc anymore. He can just add it, or he can take a strain token, and he gets how do you say this? He gets to add the focus result, which is pretty nice.
Instead.
Yes, and when you look at him, he's at 29 points, so that's a pretty nice filler pointage.
So you can stack that, right? I mean, you get one strain on the attack and another on the defense, and then die.
That-
But at least
oh, the
you see,
once per opportunity rule also prevents Finn from dying from multiple strain tokens.
mm. And you only get -1, right? -1 agility, even if you have tons of strain tokens. Isn't it
Yes.
like the tractored condition?
Yes, it
Even
is.
though you have multiple tractor tokens, you only get minus one.
Yes. The only thing that's negative about multiple tokens of that kind is the fact that it takes you a lot more blue maneuvers or a lot more times of getting shot just to remove the strain tokens.
Mm. Because don't you remove everything when
No, you remove
when you're shot at?
you remove the
Only
first
one
time you're
or
shot,
all?
you remove one. The first time you're shot, you're removed. It's removed. So I'll have to look into if it removes all.
Mm.
But
Mm.
if you have everything at the end phase, and then you start the next turn, when you do a blue maneuver, you only remove one.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll have to double check the other scenario that you're mentioning.
All right.
Okay. So let's move on to the first order. So the first order now, since we only have a few limited ships,
So,
so they
uh,
still don't like the Upsilon class shuttle still
Yeah.
hitting.
this segment is dedicated to all the first order pilots out there,
Uh,
particularly Luigi. I think only Luigi pilots first order.
at least in tournaments, yes. He's the only one who's piloted first order so far.
Oh,
And
who
also
knows?
PC, I think, right?
Ian might
Ian's
want the.
played a few games in league with first order.
Ah, okay.
So we see the Thai FO getting reductions mostly.
Discount
Yeah, and Thais,
almost
everyone but
across the board.
yeah, except for quick draw,
Wow.
and everyone but Kylo Ren got a discount.
Everyone but Kylo Ren.
Yep.
63-point blackout. I think I'm probably thinking about a good 63-point blackout list. I don't know. One point, is it really enough to make,
But
make.
Blackout is his ability is quite nice, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
if his attack is obstructed, you get minus two at defense die, something like that, if I
Yes,
remember correctly.
that is true.
No? That's something that is waiting to be exploited.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only thing keeping these guys back, especially like Blackout, is the fact that they don't have a sensor slot, so they can't equip advanced sensors and then barrel roll out of the way of obstacles.
Only Kylo Ren has a sensor slot,
Only Kylo Ren can pre-maneuver uh,
courtesy
barrel
of
roll.
Supernatural.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So speaking of going back to the shuttle here, we have the General Hux actually getting a reduction, which would actually, I think, if he was on the shuttle, it would make up for the additional
Plus,
points. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then you could put like more Tie fighters, right? Because Hux's ability works on generics, right?
mm,
Oh, in general, just coordinating up to two additional ships. It doesn't matter if they're generics or not.
Oh, so yeah, so actually that's makes him actually more useful.
so you have 2 points more. Yay!
Yeah,
Maybe a 1/8 of a TIE fighter you can add.
yeah. I think. Do you think this can fit swarms? Do you think the new pointages can fit swarms?
Define swarm. If it's like a four ship swarm,
A
Oh,
first order
mm,
swarm.
a little bit above mini swarms, so around 6, 7, 8.
no, I
26
don't think so.
points for
I,
the Epsilon Squadron Cadet or the Zeta Squadron Pilot. No, I don't see it going above 5. Right, 6 probably, but that's pushing it.
yeah, that's
6 times 26.
And
Well, you can
that's,
maximize the number, but whether you're going to win or lose is another question.
yeah,
although I think I can see some potential here for Hux and then having like uh, generic silencers on the board, getting double coordinates for each of those silencers.
interesting. Uh, but
So that
maybe,
would be around. So you probably fit 2.5 if I'm not. Yeah, just two silencers, and then maybe add in another quick draw or something. Or sorry, not quick draw. Someone more cheaper than him. But yeah,
Captain Phasma, what do you think of her?
no change. I think she's pretty okay, I guess, if on Upsilon at least, if the one that Which one's the one that likes getting shot at? Sanderson? Tabson?
Tabson.
Tabson.
Tabson. Yeah.
Tabson the masochist.
Yeah.
The
Fifty,
So
lieutenant.
shi 50
yeah.
Shades of Tabson.
Mhm.
Hit
Yeah, but
me,
right now Hux is so good at 6 points, I think. You know.
Hux.
Yeah.
Mm,
Mm.
personally, I don't like the limitation that every ship has to perform the same action. Because if they're doing, how to say this, repositions, it's gonna be a problem. But if they're always gonna be doing focuses, why not?
Yeah, I mean, they could do that on their own turn, but everyone's doing the focus first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But
It's the
yeah.
same with battle meditation, right? For the Republic, you have to do the same action.
Yeah.
Ah,
So I
The
guess
difference
it's
is
only
that
fair.
oh sorry, the difference is that how to say this, yung the battle meditation actions are not treated as red. So when you coordinate using Hux, you stress out the ships that you're coordinating. So Hux either has to be coordinating first, and then the ships take a blue maneuver next turn, which the only good blue maneuver dials the first order has are well, generally no, the the silencer.
But one thing I'm surprised they didn't do, there was a big rumor going around before the official announcement. They said they're going to half the points on Supreme Leader Snoke. So
Mm.
just to be
ooh.
true to theme, no? Half points. Okay.
Well,
Well, that
sadly,
was a
I
ninja joke.
don't.
Slow,
Yeah.
slow.
Ninja joke
Ah.
over there.
Ah.
Well, 13 points is so hard to divide by two. So I guess they're still trying to figure out
Ah.
how to
I
half.
assume that setting up the scene in the throne room was pretty hard to do as well for Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe this is a spoiler. Maybe Supreme Snoke will come back in one piece. So that's why they didn't have the points. Huh? Who knows? Who knows?
Well,
Who knows?
his ability is pretty disgusting. So I wouldn't want to see this at 7 or 6 points on any kind of first order ship.
Okay, so yeah, let's
Take the
move
pick.
on to generics really quick. So one thing I'd like to point out, which I hate, is a tactical officer getting a 4 point increase to 6 points.
Yeah,
So
this
I'm not.
surprised me. Yeah.
Maybe 2 points would have been okay, but four is just, yeah. You're definitely
Mhm.
not gonna get him anymore.
Who?
The
Tactical
tactic.
officer?
TAC officer. Yeah, basically
Ah,
the TAC officer Leia Organa combo is now 12 points rather than a whopping 4 points previously. Which I think is alright because now you can still fit both of them, but it takes up a significant chunk of your points. Whether you're running beef or something else, if you want to go for the TAC officer Leia Organa combo.
tak tak Leia. Is
Yep.
there?
The U-wing who would carry attack officer and Leia.
Yep.
So
Okay.
now
So
can't do either.
Well, it can, but it's gonna be like the bedrock of your list if you plan to do that.
Yeah,
so
with the cheapest U-wing, it'll cost automatically around plus 12 points, 43, 55 points. Yeah,
55.
yeah,
Slightly above quarter. Something to really work around with. So
yeah.
we'll probably see some squads gonna be centering around that.
And the season navigator became a variable now too.
Yay! That's interesting. I like that. 8 points on initiative 6.
Did anyone ever use him though? I don't recall seeing anyone use him.
Uh,
well, I used him with Han resistance Han,
mhm.
the
I
one
said
where Han starts anywhere on the board. So it's a nice trick. Wait for the opponent to move, then you can change your dial.
yeah.
Well, not anymore, apparently.
You can, but it's just gonna cost you 8 points.
Yeah. I think 8 points is fair. Usually, anything that wants to take Season Navigators at I6 and wants to take a bid to ensure that
Yeah.
they can use Season Navigator. So 8 points is a nice price point because you can usually if you're taking the bids, if you're gonna be flying low number of ships. So you've got sub 180, sub 190 final price points until you punch in the Season Navigator. So it makes you think about really taking 8 points. So 8 points, you can either get Perceptive Co-Pilot, which makes you sturdier if you're something because you get double focuses. So yeah, I think 8 points for Season Nav is a pretty good price point.
But What
or
triggered
uses.
the season nav change? Was there any meta defining squad out there that used this?
Probably Handbrake Han,
Mm,
because
Well, yeah,
yeah,
but
that's a good.
Sandbreak Han never used Season Navigator though.
yeah, Handbrake
But
Han used a
yeah,
similar
and
mechanic
he's a
because
good alternative to Jan. What's that? To the dampeners itself, right?
yeah,
Instead of
Yeah,
yeah,
breaking, just change his direction.
especially now that he can't use the dampeners, maybe this is to protect that list from using Season Navigator instead.
in some ways, yes, I believe that to be
So
a
good,
portion of it.
good foresight, no? That's
But
heightened
yeah,
perception on the part of FFG.
yeah.
And the R2 Astromech also changed to a variable. Right.
This is the how to say this.
The
This is the
region type.
fault. This is the fault of all Jedi players who play Delta 7B with R2 Astromech. I'm looking at you,
Yep.
Ron.
So this is another addition to your list, Ron.
That's too much, ah. After increasing Delta 7B, now they're touching my bot.
Yeah,
It's too
your
much,
butt.
ah.
So so based
It's not
so
like the
it's based
Jedi's
on
are winning
agility,
tournaments,
right?
ah. They're not.
Yeah, it's based on Agility.
So it's diff base 3, so it's automatically 6 points on the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
All
Six
Jedi.
points. Whereas before it was 4 points.
4. Yeah.
PowerPoints.
Mm, okay.
Speaking of the R2 Astromex, I just want to point out one ship that got hurt by this change. It's Coran Horn. Coran Horn
Oh.
was never in a good place already in the previous in the past, even in the recent past. But Coran Horn builds that focused on some region were pretty decent at least, and now Coran Horn had a lot of stuff increase in pointage, and he just makes him more expensive, and he's still dead in the water up until now.
Yeah. Poor Corrin.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully in the next one we'll see. And we see that hate also changed to a variable based on size of the ship. So I
Yeah.
think this is just in response to Dooku and Maul.
Yes.
Yeah. I hate that duo.
Yeah, because they both carry hate. But when you think about it, actually, that proton torpedo carrying duo can still be on the table both with hate. They just need to bring plasma torpedoes
At
now.
least with the plasma torpedo, the second plasma doesn't hurt as much because by the time probably you no longer have shields.
Yeah, but it's still disgustingly annoying when you think about how to deal with those two.
Speaking of which, how do you deal with those two? The
Maybe that's a discussion that we can have for another specific episode, like
Yep.
crazy, how to fight against crazy lists thing.
maybe.
Yes. Our next episode we can discuss our worst, our most feared lists. All
Mm,
right. Heads up, mine's just the Swarm. I hate the Swarm. The anyway. Uh, okay. Moving on to the Force powers. So,
Speaking
uh,
of force power,
mhm.
didn't you notice Rebel Beef, the components, all of them increased by 4. No? So it's like FFG using the force on the Rebel Beef.
Oh man, it was a ninja joke again.
Yeah. Uh,
I was looking
Like,
for
what
content,
shall we
Ron.
do? What shall we do? And the FFG executive, use the force. Ting. Then the tight bulb appeared. Okay, everything across the board plus 4. There you have it. Thinking scrubs. You heard it here first.
Okay,
we're
Ron.
setting the wrong example here. We don't think that way.
I'll call your
Huh?
bet, Ron.
Not.
During the next FFG Twitch, you ask that. Is it true that you use the force?
Oh god. No, I'm not. Not gonna.
Next to the Palpatine Inakan question. All right, moving on. We're on a
Okay.
strict timeline here, guys. Come on.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, some force powers got reduced. Not sure if they saw relevant meta play, but
Which force powers?
Instinctive
instinctive, predictive
predictive.
shot,
Instinctive
and
aim.
sense.
They reduced. They're really selling it hard, ah. Those sucky force powers. No,
Uh,
instinctive aim. That's the one where you instead of using a target lock, you can use focus.
Yeah, it's Force Dead Eye.
Mm.
not sure. I don't know. Since the torpedoes are still pretty expensive, um, not sure who are the
Mm.
force users who take torpedoes. Kylo, uh,
Luke.
Luke.
That's about it.
Yeah, so
Well,
okay,
the
It runs
Dooku
in
and
the
Maul
family.
actually. Dooku and Maul. But
uh,
the thing about these guys is they usually have three force or regenerating force. So when you think about it, instinctive aim isn't really that useful because it takes up points, and it's a mechanic that uses up your force when you can just take a target lock and then adjust your mods accordingly with your own force. So even at one point, it's not. uh,
we'll see. Okay, so the veteran turret gunner increased by 2 points. This hurts so
This,
bad.
this is similar to its old point cost, right? It was 8 points before, down, right? Oh yeah, it was. It
It
So
was
what?
was
8, then
8 points.
reduced, then got up again.
So what squad is hurt by this point change?
Uh,
Ghost squads,
Y-wing
Y-wing
squads,
squads,
the lock, the
Lock Revenants.
yeah, revenant squads.
It's the fault of Drea and her
Well,
Yep.
I think this
Skurgs.
is more related to the aside from the Lock Revenants, there's also the four Y-wing Ion, the four Yons. So
Mm.
maybe it's just trying to edge out that negative play experience. I
Well,
mean,
I don't.
fighting
I've
against
never
Y.
seen a list that it was that effective using that list, but okay. Ironically, the in the last points change, they were saying that they wanted to encourage turret use, and so, and that's why they reduced these that veteran turret gunner and the turrets last time, right?
So
And now
now
they're
they're
just
discouraging
now
turrets
they're
use.
bringing it back. So it's
Yeah,
like what?
because they didn't go on the ships with turrets that they wanted, like the Falcon or the Resistance Falcon or even Dash.
So Raymond, in the final product, you'll be show. This is what they'll see in YouTube, the
Yeah,
Excel spreadsheet.
yeah, that's right.
Wow, exciting.
Then so okay, let's just try to get through this really quick. Inertial dampeners went up really
So
high.
uh,
That's very shocking. Although I'm only familiar with Handbrake Hand, of course, who used this, but who else really used this?
sometimes U-wings use it if they're not carrying Leia. Uh, a couple of well, you could actually use it on the Shadowcaster. The Shadowcaster used to use it in 1.0 just to shock someone to see, hi guys, I suddenly didn't move.
Right, right. And
The
changing it to variable based on initiative, I guess that's all right.
the YT 1300 lost its illicit slot also, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it did.
Mm.
Interesting enough, it did actually gain an extra mod slot, as pointed out by Ralph Borja earlier. It
Mm-mm.
gained a mod slot just for Han specifically.
For Han only.
Yeah,
Also, that's Han and Chewie doing some
let me
modifications
double
on the
check.
Falcon.
Yes, only Han gets. Oh no, they all get the extra mod slot.
Mm. Now, what would you put in that slot?
Put in two hull upgrades then.
Uh, but you can put in the same type of
All right,
upgrade.
yeah, they're all limited now. I forgot.
Yeah,
Then
So
one shield, and
engine
one
upgrade,
hull upgrade.
I'd put an engine upgrade and a shield upgrade, but sometimes I'd probably leave it empty, maybe.
or what's that? Angle deflectors.
You can't take it.
Can't.
Yeah, they're not for big base. They're only
Yep,
for small, medium
Ah,
smaller
base.
medium.
so for Arc 170s only.
Yep.
Okay, so moving down to what's more interesting here to see?
Uh,
Swarm tactics. Oh my God, swarm tactics. This is crazy. Also became variable based on initiative, but it only really affects starting initiative 5, then
mm,
6.
I think it's all right. Uh,
Because, the idea behind tactics is to put it on a high initiative ship in the first place.
I think it's more like if I want my ships to fire at the same time because I want to chain specific shots. So the being able to fire from a higher initiative is just a bonus. there are probably cases wherein you want specific effects to happen alongside the rest of your other ships. Though, question is investing 3 points in such a talent worth it usually? But there is that possibility. So I think the increasing point cost when you hit initiative 5 and 6 is actually all right because it means it keeps swarms, particularly still low initiative and manageable, while still giving them the tool to be able to race and fire at a higher initiative.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. Yeah. Then, okay, so as mentioned, the turrets went up, proton torpedoes went up again,
Mm-hmm.
and
Passive sensors.
yeah,
Three
Passive
the new.
point
sensors are so awesome at three
three
points.
points only.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's one of the things that caught my eye as soon as I saw the points changes. 3 points for passive sensors just feels so dirty.
Okay,
Well,
It's
it
passive
is
so
meant to
sensor.
unfair.
be. It is meant to be put on low initiative ships, right? So, I
You could
But
understand
it's
why
not
you'd want.
variable.
Yeah, it's not variable. That's the crazy thing about it too. Because the thing is, you can also put it on high initiative ships who might get outbid because they won't care about the bid. They just have to put themselves in position, and then when they engage, since they're engaging first, they can take the target lock.
Okay, what does it
Ooh.
do again for our listeners?
Well, basically, you spend the charge during your action step, and then
Okay,
when you engage, you get to choose between taking a lock action or a calculate.
or a calculate.
Yes.
All right. Uh,
So that means there's already perfect board information, and you only get to choose what to lock.
And you also, yeah, so the calculate is also a consolation prize just in case you
In
do
case
not
you need
get
a
the
calculate.
lock. Yeah.
Unless you're a ship who also uses something like C3PO that gives you double calculates. Because
Oh,
those
yeah,
things
that's
work with it.
interesting.
So you could also carry R3 Astromech and then lock two ships that are already within engagement range. It's crazy. You
Oh,
could,
yeah, that's
since they're
cool.
actions, you could also trigger specific abilities like Poe's. Poe doesn't have the slot, but Vader's ability to trigger a chain of actions. For example, you could do a
oh.
barrel roll during the engagement phase after doing your lockout.
Mm.
So it's pretty.
So here's an interesting thing. You could put passive sensors on, let's see,
Hera. Put it on Hera.
Hera.
Yeah.
The
And then
ghost?
yeah, put it on Hera, put composure on Hera, put a shitty P85 on Hera, do your coordinate, don't have any other friendly ships nearby, fail your coordinate, take a focus, move into range one, adjust accordingly using your ability, and then take a lock action if you're gunning after an ace using passive sensors.
Wait, I got lost there. How?
Although in that scenario, Mon,
Uh,
you could just do the first part and just since Hera would have the ability to move around, uh, then just target lock as your normal action, right? Or
It
How would you
depends if you're
move?
going up against aces. The thing about it is, my big problem with Hera is if you're fighting against something initiative 6, her ability suddenly becomes dead weight. But with passive sensors, you can bully lower initiative ships, but still have a fighting chance on pushing a double modded shot on an initiative 6 ship.
interesting.
So yeah, it's a direction that I'm looking at, but it's also great on the lower initiative VCX 100s because that means they can get locks, and then if you can just find some way to give them double mods some other way, then that'd be great.
Right.
The
Yes.
U wings, does the U wings still have sensors or no more?
Yes, they do.
They do. Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
So okay, so I guess that's it for all the points.
Interesting brewing times ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So some speculation that we received based on the live stream. So the next news update for FFG will be at Gen Con. We'll probably it's been said that we'll be hearing the revelation of Wave 6 there. The some updates about card packs and maybe some talk of Epic. Hmm.
So
Any
what do you think?
speculation on
What do
Wave
you
6
think
ships?
would Wave 6 include? I bet it would include that new interceptor, that red one in the trailer,
Yeah,
Rise of Skywalker,
definitely.
episode
But
9.
I would also I don't know. I didn't see any new resistance ships in the trailer, so I don't know if there is any
Oh, it's
for the
for the
resistance.
for the FO. I think Rob's
Isn't
referring to
that
the
new?
FO one.
Okay. So, yeah, I have no idea. Who else can they pop out for the other factions?
So that's for the FO. What else? What other factions need reinforcements right now?
Well, if they could do a double FO thing, like if they also release the Resistance cartoons, Major Von Reg's TIE Interceptor, FO TIE Interceptor, that would be nice. And it looks really
Ooh.
nice. So,
Wasn't there a FO bomber before?
I think in terms of bomber, I think you're referring to the Han Solo uh, TIE Brute that
Thai
was
brute?
featured in the Han Solo movie.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, well,
Which
I'm not expecting Rebel Scum or Imperials to get any new ships anytime soon. Mostly another what do you call this, re-release if ever.
the separatists, probably the Tri Fighter.
Well, yeah, yeah, that would be nice. It would also be nice if the Republic actually got a large base ship,
The what's that? The troop carrier ship?
the LAAV, the lab.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
that would
does
be
it
nice.
go to space? It
It
has
does in
Yes,
the
it
open.
does.
cartoons.
It does. It
Really?
does.
In the cartoons, it
But
does.
aren't the doors atmospheric? I mean,
No, you
No,
just can't
they can
open the
close.
doors.
There are doors. They
You
can
mm,
just can't.
close.
You just can't open the doors. But those things can carry missiles. They fire front and back, I think.
Yeah, and then they have disruptor lasers, I think, in most of
So
the pods.
maybe then we will have a Yoda crew,
Yoda crew.
I'd rather have a Yoda pilot.
Yoda pilot on what's that ship's name?
I
That
think it's a good.
crossbreed between an Arc and Tie Fighter,
Yeah,
not Arc, Aether Sprite rather.
Aether Sprite and a TIE fighter.
Okay, so
Card
I'm
packs,
guessing nobody cares about Epic much in this group. But yeah,
epic.
who plays
It
Epic?
depends. I mean, if someone were to invest a significant amount of, I guess, time and effort into organizing epic, we say this events, would probably join. But I don't know anyone else who's interested in epic.
Well, I
I've
have two
never
epic
played
ships. I
Epic.
have the Raider and the Tantive.
Oh, the Raider, that's such a sexy ship.
Oh, so how about you? You don't have any epic ships?
I personally do not have any epic ships.
Mm, because I'm
Sold
selling the
mine.
Raider for
Ooh, PM kita. I'll PM.
joke.
But actually, yeah, Epic isn't really a thing for me. But what I am looking forward to is probably news in terms of card packs, not ships themselves. If there are any additional pilots for some rebel ships or even imperial ships that only have a limited number of named pilots.
So, during the stream, there's no detail mentioned about that. No? So it could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything.
So hopefully new pilots, no? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, what would make you buy the card
Wait,
packs if there's
wait,
nothing new
just to
inside?
clarify, this was asked in the live stream, but they specifically said that the they weren't they didn't say exactly that the card packs were going to be released. They said they were going to have news about the card packs.
Ah,
So it
okay.
could be
Oh,
they could just say,
oh,
"Hey, we're looking into it," then that's it.
oh, lame, lame. That's such
But
lame
but at least
PR.
they're going to have news. But I mean, would you broadcast to everyone that we decided that we're not going to make card packs in a major event in
Well,
Gen at that?
Yeah,
that
or
could
why not
be
just say it over the stream? Parang,
Right.
well.
I
That's
mean,
to
exact.
minimize its
That's
importance.
still news right now. There could be something they're still mulling over, and hey, they counted. Okay, so not worth it.
I
Nah, we're
bet,
not
I
gonna do
bet,
it.
I bet there's something because otherwise they would have just said that we're considering that right now and so on and so forth.
Oh,
But mentioning that they're
FFG
going
has.
to see something new during Gen Con, there must be
Yeah,
something.
but anything could be something. They could say that we're still looking into it or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
that's true. But if there's something that I wish for, then it's gonna be a Taiko Selchu card in an A-Wing card pack.
Type of what?
A Taiko Selchu
Ah,
card
right,
in an
right,
A-Wing card pack.
right.
I bet everyone has their own thing, like they're looking for a specific pilot or character. But basically, that's me. What I'm looking for in a card pack, if ever it becomes a reality, if FFG that lets the world know that um, they're gonna be doing card packs, is they're gonna say, "Hey, we're gonna be releasing the A-Wing, and it's got Taiko Selchu in it in a card pack." I'm gonna get it.
You know,
But
I've been thinking about those card packs. Wouldn't it be better if, I mean, for a faction that's big as the Rebel faction, you could just release a card pack that's just for entire Rebels? Because if you release it per card pack, then that means per ship, you'd have to come up with a certain amount of content to justify the price of that, right?
mhm,
Didn't they
Maybe
already do that?
with
the
the
AKA
conversion.
conversion kits.
yeah, but this would be like Rebel faction update 1, 2, or something. Or number one, some.
I wish they make planeswalkers, include planeswalkers in the pilots.
It's not
Right?
that game.
So you don't play Magic, no?
Huh? I'm alright. I have friends who play
Ah,
Magic.
Long,
planeswalker pilot.
I wish they
right.
play
So
X, but
so the picture would be just the humanoid with no ship. So they're planeswalkers. Anyway, so do
Okay,
you think
so
it would be random? Hopefully
what?
not, no?
no, God no.
No,
The
Hopefully
no,
reason
not.
why I
no,
play X-Wing is because it's not random.
Mm,
no. FFG don't. At least I know that FFG has said they're not into that kind of thing.
mm. Ah,
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so yeah, so some I guess my God, we've been running for more than an hour and a half now. So just let's just top it off with some of our upcoming announcements. Mon, you want to take this one?
yeah, sure. So we're looking at, as again, we're just reiterating, July 6th, we're doing this League Season 2 finals. We're still confirming with the participants their final dates, but we've already watermarked it. We already have a venue in mind and we'll be seeing each other there. We just need to confirm, do a final confirmation of all participants for July 6th. So we'll also be doing the raffles on that day. So for any participant of League Season 2, cross your fingers because you might be the new owner of a new set of template organizers and tokens.
Woot.
Okay.
we're giving away what? 250 million? Just make sure to
No,
buy your lotto tickets
we're
on
giving
that
away
day.
a wooden template organizer from Rafa Gallegos, Fire
Wow.
Sword. Also, we're giving away a bunch of tokens, acrylic tokens made by Raf as well and donated to for the League Season 2 uh, games. So those are up for grabs. We're gonna be having a couple of winners. We're gonna be talking about how many people will be winning stuff on July 6th. So stay tuned for that. Next, there's Lysander's Ace Challenge. As we talked about in the previous episode, Lysander was kind enough to get us copies of the Alt art card, which features this snazzy target lock. Yeah, it does look like Jackie Chan. This target lock that features his pilot initiative. It's a really sweet card, and um, the only thing that players have to do to get their own copy is to enter Lysander's Ace Challenge. Just for brevity, it's basically swarms. Challengers play swarms against aces who already have their cards. And the players with the lowest MOV but taking home a win will be able to take home a copy of the card. We have 8 cards up for grabs. So 8 players, more than 8 players come over. Uh, July 13, we're still pencil marking that. We will confirm once we get a proper venue space confirmation. So just get ready. We're gonna be doing that soon.
So the participant must fly a swarm,
Yeah,
then get the lowest MOV,
but still
and
win.
then somehow manage to win.
Yes.
So just run and then win on
Oh,
final salvo.
true. You can run, but
Oh,
if if the aces pressure you, are you sure that you won't probably kill one more? Take a little more of a little. Take half points here and there.
well, TIE Fighters doesn't have half points. It's either zero or what? How much?
Yeah, plus you also have to keep your points.
Ah, they do because they have three hull.
Yeah.
So yeah, all
So
right.
they
So
still have to
that's
keep their hull. Hey, they still have to keep their points. So the challenge is actually just surviving, making use of the swarm to effectively nullify the ace list. Yeah,
mm, should be fun,
it should.
interesting at least.
Yes. Oh, Lice had actually requested to do it on July 7, but unfortunately we won't be able to do it on July 7. But I would like to give a shout out to his dog Zeus because apparently that is Zeus's birthday.
Happy birthday, Zeus!
Advance happy birthday. So yeah. Next, do I am I should I be the one talking about the Thinking Scrubs YouTube channel or
Oh yes, sorry.
no
Okay.
problem?
So after this video gets posted, you'll notice that all our branding will be changed to the new Thinking Scrubs name, logo, and such. And along with it is our brand new NapCon Finals video, comment with commentary. So it's one step closer to being a more active podcast, also having commentary videos, just like the big podcasts out there. Cough, cough.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, watch out for that. Hopefully, it'll be on by the time you listen to this, or if not, maybe just an hour or two delay.
Okay. So
Okay,
yeah, I
Ron.
think that's about it for announcements, Ron.
All right. So thanks again, everyone, for listening. We're the Thinking Scrubs. I'm Ron.
I'm Raymond.
I'm Ramon.